What is intelligence? Is it how good of a memory we have? How fast we can solve a math question? The answer is yes, but that's not all. Intelligence is a person's mental capacity to consciously utilize the brain. To be specific, this person's mental capacity refers to one's adeptness at using the five factors of intelligence: crystallized intelligence, fluid intelligence, visual processing, processing speed, and short-term memory/working memory, as originally proposed and developed by Raymond Cattell, a student of Charles Spearman, John Horn, and John B. Carroll. The first of the factors, crystallized intelligence, refers to a person's ability to use one's own experiences, knowledge, and skills. In other words, crystal intelligence describes a person's ability to use and retrieve both memories and skills that stay both in unconscious and conscious minds. To give an example of a person that excels at using crystallized intelligence, a person who aces AP tests remembers hundreds of stories and songs would suffice. Also, because crystallized intelligence is an application of accumulated knowledge, it tends to improve with more knowledge accumulated, and thus with more age. Moving on, the second of the factors is fluid intelligence. Fluid intelligence is the opposite of crystallized intelligence. It refers to a person's ability to reason and problem solve without the aid of pre-existing memories, skills, or formulas. This would include processes of spatial, verbal, and numerical ways of thinking. People who excel at calculations, discussions, sports, and even those who are good at solving mysteries would have high fluid intelligence. Next, the third that comprises what we call intelligence is our ability to visually process. What I mean by this is the ability to form visual images in our minds and manipulate that image within our minds, to think about concepts, images, and even solve problems. Imagining and creating a fantasy world, and thinking about the steps to take in a certain execution of a dance move, and turning a Rubik's Cube within our minds to plan what piece to turn are all examples of visual processing. The fourth factor is the speed in which we automatically and naturally form basic cognitive functions, such as scanning a text. Processing speed. Speedy processing in tasks that require concentration and focus would show that the person has a higher level of intelligence. Testing a student for how fast he/she can read, how fast they can memorize something, is an example of an instance where processing speed is tested. And last but not least is the short-term memory and working memory. This is the memory system that holds information for short periods of time and retains it for processing. Memorizing phone numbers and maps is an example of using short-term memory, whilst mentally transforming and utilizing such memories, on the other hand, is an ability called working memory. People who take in more info, memorize it, and transform it efficiently to their benefit will be people who have better short-term memory and working memory capabilities. To conclude, intelligence is, as I said, a person's capacity to consciously utilize the person's own mind or mental capabilities. And though others may claim that intelligence carries the same definition as I said, but should have capabilities grouped into different categories, namely Howard Gardner's categories that include musical, visual, verbal, logical, bodily, and whatnot, I believe and support the theories and thoughts proposed by Charles Spearman, John Horn, John B. Carroll, and Raymond Cattell. For example, both logical and musical intelligences would fall into the categories of fluid and crystallized intelligences, while verbal would be a distinctive example of crystallized intelligence. As such, I believe that the different partial capacities of the five factors of intelligence comprise the whole capacities of the person's general intelligence. The first being crystallized intelligence, the second fluid intelligence, the third visual processing, the fourth processing speed, and the last one being short-term memory and working memory. They all come together to define what we call intelligence.